Hey guys, I'm going to do a timeline of the Letecia Stauch case. Pretty comprehensive timeline. I've actually spent so many days and so many hours putting this together, but I went by the affidavit. But I'm going to have photos just kind of playing on the screen as I talk through the timeline, and it's going to include around January 25th, before Gannon was reported missing, all the way until Gannon's remains were found. And the photos that I'm going to have playing, they're going to be a lot of just a variety of photos relating to what I'm going to be referring to in the timeline. But again, this is all information from the affidavit. So we're going to begin on January the 25th. Now, we do know that Letecia researched a move to another state and 2-bedroom apartments. We do not know if that was the 24th or the 25th. But on January 25th of 2020, Al spent the night in Denver. Al was deployed with the National Guard from January 25th through January the 28th of 2020. Letecia searches Google numerous times indicating she is unhappy with her marriage and being a stepmom. On January the 26th of 2020, Letecia claims Gannon knocked over a candle and the carpet needs repaired. Letecia claims that she met Eduardo on this day. She says she drove around the neighborhood and he was doing construction work, and she asked him to repair the carpet that Gannon had messed up via the candle. This is the day Al departs Denver via airline. He travels to Dallas, and then ultimately Al travels to Oklahoma. And on this day is the alleged hike, and this is not in the affidavit. This is the one thing not in there, but I'm putting it because remember that interview of T or back to the camera? She was standing there, Harley walked up, confirmed the hike, and so that probably was on the 26th, on that Sunday. January 27th of 2020, 12:09 a.m. to 4:40 a.m. Letecia makes several Google searches about carpet repair, smell, smoke, etc. She called the school and told them Gannon wouldn't be in due to stomach problems. She texted Al and told him Gannon was up all night with stomach problems. At 4:37 a.m., Letecia texted her employer and said she wouldn't be able to make it because her stepdad was hit by a car and killed, which, if you guys may or may not know, but her dad was killed by a car, but this actually happened January 15th of 2009, not on January 27th, 2020. Back to January 27th timeline. At 8:13 to 8:17 a.m., Letecia took photos of Gannon sleeping in his bed. The Nintendo Switch was beside of him. 8:30 a.m. to 4:15 p.m., Harley at work, verified by employer. 9:56 a.m. to 2:45 p.m., Letecia's cell phone was locked, turned off. 10:16 a.m., neighbors' surveillance shows Letecia and Gannon leaving home in Al's Nissan Frontier. Note that Letecia left her phone at home during this time. 10:37 a.m., Gannon's phone texts Harley, Tisha left phone at home. If you need her, text me. 10:12 to 2:22 p.m., ADT motion system in home shows no movement. 11:22 a.m., Letecia visited Petco 22 miles from her home and made her first purchase. Gannon was not seen on the footage obtained. 11:23 a.m. to 1:22 p.m., Letecia's whereabouts are unknown. 12:06 p.m., Al texts Gannon, hey buddy. 1:21 p.m., Gannon's phone texts Al, can I play Zelda at least? Al replies, not today. 1:23 p.m., Letecia visits Petco a second time. 1:43 p.m., Gannon's phone searched, can my parents find my cell phone if it's off? Investigators do believe Letecia conducted this search due to Letecia's search history using a period instead of spaces between her sentences. At 2:19 p.m., Letecia returns home. Investigators suspect Gannon was with her due to the home's ADT motion system. It shows two people in the home, although the neighbor's camera did not pick up Gannon exiting the truck. 2:19 to 5:34 p.m., investigators believe Gannon was murdered in his bedroom. 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., Letecia changes story and now claims to investigators that Eduardo attacks her during this time. Letecia said Eduardo let her go upstairs and greet Lena. Letecia says she went back downstairs and eventually hit her head and may have blacked out, although no injuries were noted by investigators. Letecia also claims Gannon jumped on his back and Edgar threw Gannon across the room, then put a gun to Gannon and demanded a suitcase. Letecia says she gave Eduardo a brown suitcase during this time. 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. There was a frenzy of activity on the ADT motion detectors. The main level back door was opened and closed 10 times. 2:45 p.m. Letecia's cell phone was unlocked, turned back on. 3:11 p.m. Lena returns home from school. And if y'all remember in Letecia's original story, she told investigators Gannon went out to play around this time. And Lena enters the home for a short time, and then Letecia tells Lena to go outside. She couldn't see Gannon right now because Gannon was asleep. 3:15 p.m., Letecia initially tells investigators this is the last time she saw Gannon and when Gannon left to go play with friends. Letecia also says she sent Harley to a park to look for Gannon. 3:28 p.m., front door opens and closes, presumably Lena going out. 3:30 to 3:42 p.m., Lena was seen on camera riding her bike. 3:55 p.m., Al texts Gannon, "Hey buddy, this message was not read until 7:40 p.m. 4:42 p.m., Harley arrives home. 4:52 p.m., Letecia texts Harley to get vinegar, trash bags, bacon, soda from the dollar store. At 5:14 p.m., Letecia sent Harley and Lena to the dollar store, and that's the time stamp, the time, 5:14 p.m. on the receipt. 6 o'clock p.m., Letecia tells 911 operator that Gannon was supposed to be back home from her friends. So she calls at 6:55 p.m., but at 6 is when Letecia says Gannon was supposed to be back, and at 6:55 when Letecia reports Gannon missing by calling 911, she says that Gannon went out to play and never returned home. At 10:09 p.m., police show at the house and Letecia gives consent to search. And do note, this was a quick search because Gannon was labeled missing at the time. There were a lot of people in the home. And also note, the Volkswagen Tiguan was backed into the garage. This will prove to be significant later on. And now we're going to move to January 28th. Another search of the residence. Al gave consent for this search. 4:15 a.m., Letecia made several searches for a runaway child. 5:14 a.m., Letecia had a conversation with Stephanie, the babysitter. 8:17 a.m., Letecia searches rental car Priceline. Then she rents a 2019 Kia. She only puts 71 miles on the Kia. 8:30 a.m. to 7:02 p.m., Letecia's Volkswagen Tiguan is parked at the airport. 8:48 a.m., Letecia texts Harley to pull her car in the garage. 8:50 a.m., Letecia picks Al up from the airport in the rental car, and she tells Al that the Tiguan is near French Elementary School, and Al's returning back to Denver when she picks him up at the airport. 1:57 p.m., Letecia searches, "Can Nintendo find my Switch?" And per the affidavit from that date, the Switch has still not been recovered. And also note, Letecia's cell phone is turned off for a few hours sometime during this afternoon, the afternoon of the 28th. At 4:18 p.m. on the 28th, Letecia searches Google for CarNet Volkswagen. 4:19 p.m., Letecia searches, "They are asking for our son's toothbrush but say nothing is wrong." 4:31 p.m., Letecia texts Al that investigators are asking for Gannon's toothbrush. 7 p.m., the Tiguan departs the airport. Now, I'm wondering, who took Letecia to the airport? She rented the Kia that she's picked Al up in, but yet she returns to the airport at 7 p.m. to pick the Tiguan up. So, again, side note, who dropped Letecia off at the airport to pick that Tiguan up at 7 p.m.? 7:02 p.m. is, 7:02 p.m. on 128 through 12 o'clock on 129, the Tiguan's location is unknown per the affidavit, except for the following data retrieved. 8:08 to 8:18 p.m., the Tiguan is stopped at King Soopers per the data. 9:15 to 9:30 p.m., the Tiguan is in an area of Highway 105, Perry Park Road area, stopped and idled for 5 minutes. 8:30 p.m. to 10:20 p.m., investigators believe Letecia dumped Gannon's remains during this time. The Tiguan was in the greater northwest portion of Colorado Springs and also in an area north of the Air Force Academy in southern Douglas County. 8:30 p.m. to 10:20 p.m., Harley's phone was connected to a tower that services her home, which was 30 minutes away from Letecia's suspected location. However, at 10:26 p.m., investigators believe Harley left home and picked up Letecia from area near Carefree and Powers. And my last video, I asked, why did Harley pick Letecia up? And there's a come and go convenience store there on the corner. But why did Harley pick her up? Where is the Tiguan? You know, did Harley not question this? But again, you know, we don't know where the Tiguan was, nor why Harley picked her up, Letecia, up at 10:26 p.m. At 10:45 p.m., Letecia texts investigator, "What do you want from me? I did nothing wrong, and I'm being set up." Let's move to January 29th. Another search conducted of the home. Piece of carpet from utility room with possible blood on it was recovered. Also found in the dishwasher were carpet brushes. 9:00 a.m., Letecia returned the rented Kia. It had a significant amount of mud under the body. Someone driving the white Jetta, presumably Harley, picked her up. 11:30 a.m., Letecia's Tiguan caught on camera at the car wash. 12 o'clock, Letecia showed for an interview with investigators. She was 2 hours late. She was due there at 10 a.m., showed there at 12 o'clock. Her Tiguan appeared to be wet, recently washed. Letecia's phone was seized. Her Volkswagen was seized. Letecia was transported from the sheriff's office to the hospital via ambulance for medical attention. She left the hospital without telling investigators and was picked up by an unknown person, then reunited with her daughter several miles from the hospital. January 30th, Letecia obtained the Nissan Altima. It was rented by her aunt, utilized from January 30th through February 1st of 2020. January 31st, 2020, Letecia speaks to the media, televised back to the camera. And I also think this may be the day that Letecia goes to South Carolina, because remember Spencer Wilson making the tweet saying she had 5 people in her caravan. So I think that's the day she departed for South Carolina, the 31st. On February 1st, 2020, Volkswagen Tiguan searched. Possible traces of blood on rear of vehicle were found. Step plate, rear and front passenger seat, and an area near the glove box. February 3rd through the 5th, 2020, Letecia allegedly traveled to Pensacola, Florida to dump Gannon's body. February 13th, 2020, Letecia tells Al Gannon was burned by the candle fire and that caused the skin to bubble. February 14th, Letecia tells Al 4 additional stories about what happened to Gannon and about his disappearance. February 15th, recovery of particle board with Gannon's blood, and this was in the area where the Altima and the Tiguan idled for that 5 minutes. February 18th, Letecia calls fake polygraph twice. Monday, March 2nd, Letecia's arrested in South Carolina. Tuesday, March 3rd, Letecia makes South Carolina court appearance. March 3rd, Letecia is released from South Carolina to be transported to Colorado. March 5th, Letecia released early morning from Kansas jail. Letecia attacks a deputy during transport and spends the night in Kansas jail. March the 5th, Letecia is booked in El Paso jail. March 5th, Al files for divorce. March 18th, 2020, Gannon's remains found in a suitcase under a bridge in Pace, Florida. That's the timeline that I have, y'all. Let me know if I've left anything out.